Hello, my name is Irvin, also known as. Wait a minute, I don't need to introduce myself. I'm going to do that a little bit later. Okay, so we're going to continue with Office 365 training for those office jobs. I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm actually holding this microphone like this. Is a tiny microphone. Anyways, Office 365 training. Today we're going to talk about Teams, but we're going to do some troubleshooting with Teams too. So I hope you like this video. This is definitely going to be educational. And I don't know. Let's just get to it. I don't know what I was going to say, man. Just let's just get to it. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. My name is Irvin, also known as Man, and today we're going to keep expanding our Office 365 knowledge so we can get those Office 365 jobs. You know, those jobs that are like the first thing that they list is Office 365 experience. So if you don't have any, then check out my channel and the Office 365 playlist that I have. I'm going to make it pop up here so you can check it out. In the last video, we talked about users, and we talked about users a lot. We expanded on all of this stuff, and it's not as simple as just picking a user and resetting the password. There's a lot to it, like templates, adding multiple users, and all kinds of different stuff. And for that, of course, I'm going to add a link up here to come up so you can check that out. Now, as usual, per my style of videos, I'm going to keep going down the list. So now instead of users, we're going to go down the list. We're going to talk about teams. Now, when I was thinking about how to make this video, I wanted to make it in such a way where we can actually troubleshoot teams overall. There might be multiple videos on teams, just so you know, and for that you might want to subscribe. And just do me a favor, please in the comments below, let me know that you're present, that you're here, or just if you want to say hi. This is a really, really motivating thing for me, knowing that people are watching. And I do see some returning people that are still watching and doing this exact same thing that I'm talking about. And it's much appreciated, guys. I really love you for that. It's just a motivating thing for me. I can't even explain it. Thank you so much. All right, now let's talk about teams. Here's our teams, and yes, I've made videos on this in a basic type of level, on a basic type of level where we've created some teams and some groups and whatnot. But let's look at this from a point of view of somebody who's going to troubleshoot. Now here is our teams tab, and we clicked on the active teams and groups. And here we see under Microsoft 365 groups, we see 4 different groups listed. And if you watch the videos, you know that we've created these groups previously. And if you look under team status here, you've noticed that some of these, or I should say majority of these, have this little icon here. And if you hover over it, it says this group has Microsoft Teams connected. And the same goes for these other ones, except this one here. So why is that? Well, let's look at it as point of view, like I said, point of view of somebody who's going to administer this. So the first thing we're going to do is just going to click on all company and look at it. And the first thing that comes up is general, but we're not concerned about general necessarily at this point because we're talking about settings. So if I go back here, it says here for these other ones, if I hover over the icon, it says this group has Microsoft Teams connected. Every time I hear a word connected, that means it's some kind of a setting, right? This is something we need to change in settings. So again, we're going to go back to this one that doesn't have this status. I'm going to click on it, and I'm not concerned about general, right? It's not there. Not members. This is something we can always add and or remove. We're going to look at settings. So if you look at settings here, we can see that we have general settings here, and it just says let people outside organization email this team, send copies of team emails, or don't show team email address in Outlook. And then we got privacy, it's either public, private, and then we got external file sharing settings on the right here, and nothing else. So sure enough, none of this stuff talks about teams, what's going on. Well, let's compare it to how it looks like for a group that has teams activated. So just kind of take a virtual mind visual snapshot of this, right? Just remember what's all in here. Just remember that. And now let's go and compare it to the next one that has it. So we're going to select this one, and then we're going to click settings. Aha! Did you notice? Now that you visually remember the other one, you can see that this one here stands out, right? it says, it talks about Teams. It says Teams conversations, and it says here allow members to edit and to edit their sent messages, allow members to delete their sent messages. So there are some settings in Teams which tells me that this is integrated and this is connected. This group has Teams connected, and just like it says here, this group has Microsoft Teams connected, and this other one doesn't. So why is that? Now, the main reason for this one is because this one is a default group for everyone on the network, and that's fine. We're going to leave this as it is. We don't want to make changes to this. You can add teams to a group that doesn't have teams. So you can create a group that doesn't have teams connected to it at all. And we're going to demonstrate that. We're going to purposely create a group that's not going to have teams added to it. So let's go ahead and do that, so that way we can replicate this, because I don't want to make changes to this regular default group. We're going to create another one down here that's not going to have an icon like this. It's going to be a broken one. We're going to create a broken one on purpose. So we're going to select add group. Okay, so we're going to create a Microsoft 365 group. Not because it's recommended, because it's simply an option to demonstrate on how we can add teams to it, how we can connect teams to it. Again, we're going to purposely make it so that it doesn't have teams, but we're going to fix it later. Okay, this is one of those things you need to kind of think about in a way so you can troubleshoot this type of stuff as administrator. Okay, it's one thing to show how to create things, but can you troubleshoot it? That's another question. So we're going to make a Microsoft 365 group which creates teams, shared mailbox, and this and that. So we're going to leave it at that. We're going to select next, and we're going to name this group, I don't know, we're going to call it shared group. We're just going to call it shared group. Why not? Because I can't think of another name. So shared group, and we're going to click next, and then we're going to assign it an owner. And sure, let's do that. We can pick any of these people, and one of the last people that I've made was Jasmine Long, so we're just gonna select her in here. You can of course search for it, it doesn't matter, but notice how on the right here for Jasmine Long it says teams enabled. This is only specifically to her, right? So her license that she has teams enabled. It doesn't mean it's going to work in this group. And you will see, just because she has a license doesn't mean she can access this group's teams until we set it up. So she has teams enabled to use, so she can use teams. She can use teams like for any other group, for any group that's created for her specifically, or not for her specifically, but herself specifically has a license to use Teams application, which is what I should say. So she can use Teams application, and she has a license to do that. This icon, although it looks the same as the other one, doesn't mean that it's going to activate Teams on this group that we're creating. So we're just going to select her and make her an owner. And then later on, you can add members and this and that, and we're just going to skip over that to just keep it going. So we've selected our owner, we're going to click next. And then we can add members, and we're going to do that real quick here. We're going to add George Henry, and we're going to have to add Jasmine Long as well so she can view it. Just because you added her as a owner doesn't mean she can view it, right? She's the owner, meaning that she can make adjustments and this and that. She can make changes, update things, this and that, but doesn't mean that she'll be able necessarily to view it. So we're going to add her again just to make sure she's in there. And then we're going to add Bob in there too. Why not? So we're going to add 3 members in here. We're going to select next. And then we're going to create a group email address. Remember, this creates a shared mailbox every time you create a group. I should say Office 365 group specifically. It creates all of this for you, which is great. So you can do all of this for a new group all at once, which is great. So what did we call it? Share what did we call it? Group type. I'm sorry, basics, shared group. We just call it shared group. So we're going to call it shared group. Okay. And then we're going to leave it the privacy as in public. That's fine. And here it is where we're going to purposely break it, where it says here, add Microsoft Teams to your group. We're going to unclick that. We're not going to create a Teams group because we want to recreate the situation that I've explained already. We're going to add it later. We're going to click next, and we're going to select create group. Now, the group is created. We're going to close this window, and here is our group, and we can immediately see that Microsoft Teams is not connected. We can see that it's broken, and that's fine. We can add it in there. So let's go ahead and open it up. But you know what? Let's do this by, we can fix it through here, and that's fine. But let's see if we can fix it through Microsoft Teams, right? I mean, we're talking about Teams here. Sorry, I had to take a sip of water. So, you know, we're talking about Microsoft Teams here. So let's see if we can just add it through Microsoft Teams. I mean, logically, you would think this. At least I would think. So I'm just going to go ahead and open Teams. See if we can add it in there. See what can we do, you know? So here we are in Teams Admin Center. We're going to expand Teams here, and we're going to select Manage Teams. Well, what's going on here? You can see it's not in here. It's not added in here. Well, let's go ahead and see if we can add it manually. And I want to show you this specifically. And the reason for what I want to show you specifically is because everything in Microsoft Office 365 is key sensitive, and it will know that we've already created a group named share, what did we call it? Shared group. And then if we try to add Microsoft Teams in here manually, it's going to deny us. And I'll show you. And it's not even going to say it. And the reason is because the shared group name is already reserved for this, just in case shared group wants to add Microsoft Teams or wants to connect Microsoft Teams. So it's already created, except you can't see it in here. I don't know if I want to say it's already created initially, but the name itself is already reserved, and I'll prove it to you right here. So if we're here in my Manage Teams, and shared group is not in here. It's not in here because we didn't add it. But if we click add and just do it like this, we call it shared group. Exact same name how we have it over there. You know, the description, and then we tried to add it. Team owner, who did we say? Jasmine Long. We're going to remove Irvin. We're going to make it public, just like it is over there, and we're going to say apply. And it's going to fail, but you'll just say, we can't create this item. We can't create this item because this name is already reserved. It's already reserved. And I want you to understand this because this is how Office 365 works. Because it's for protection and for the connection of everything that's related to it. So if I was to just be able to create a shared group here and not have it associated with the other group here, Microsoft Office 365 group, and then create this Teams group with the same name, it's going to cause problems. And for those reasons, everything's case sensitive and all the names are reserved. As soon as you create a name, it's going to be reserved. So that way there's no conflict, there's no connection issues, none of that stuff. You already created it. All we have to do is just basically, or created the name, all we have to do is just activate Teams. And we can certainly do that. And you can see here, which is kind of misleading, it says we just can't create this item. It doesn't say this name is reserved or anything like that. So this is one of those things that it's not taught. This is not taught. Like nobody's teaching you that this error means this. All right. But if I was to even change this even a little bit, let's say I use small g, it's not going to work. So it's shared group with small g, and I click apply. it's still not gonna, it's going to reserve a variation of it, whether it's all caps, one cap, or whatever else. It's going to reserve it, and that's perfectly fine. It's not like you're gonna have 1,000 groups in an organization, right? However, if I was to change this to shared group, I don't know, let's just say one, doesn't matter. It's going to work. So if I click apply, now it's going to create it, right? You can see that this proves the fact that the error is not very descriptive, or it's not descriptive at all. It just says failed, whatever. And I'm just waiting for this to finish so the way I can remove it, because I want to keep Office 365 clean in the sense where since I have continuous videos, I'm going to have to remove it once it's created, so that way there's no confusion in future videos at all. I want to keep this, for you guys. I want to make sure that everything is in order, because I plan to make more videos. And here it is. It created this other group, but this, all it is just a Teams group, right? So we're just going to remove it. And this may also show up in other places. So if we go back to the admin center and refresh it, there it is. Here's our shared group. But we've already deleted it. So if I were to try to delete it in here, it's just going to say, it's going to give me an error. See, delete group. There it is. It doesn't exist because we already deleted it. So we're going to refresh this, and this other group will disappear, and ensure it did. So shared group 1 is gone, but we still have shared group in here. And now we're going to go in and we're going to add Teams to it, because remember, we purposely broke it. Now we're going to add, and we're just going to do it through here, and we're going to go to settings, or actually we don't have to go to settings, we're going to actually go to general. It's right here. There is some things in Office 365 that don't make sense, but maybe this does. Maybe I'm the stupid one here, and when I think of adding things or connecting things, I think of settings, and this is where I went to look. And sure enough, when we looked at the settings, remember when we took that visual snapshot of this, it didn't have all that stuff on the bottom which we're going to activate, and you would think you would do it here, right? But no, it's under general now, so it's right here, whatever. Anyways, just remember it's here. We're just going to click add themes. I don't know why they did it like this, because maybe they just want to make sure people don't miss this. Maybe so it's like in your face. I don't know. Anyways, that's how you activate, and that's how you fix this problem. And now if you go to settings, you can see that these options are now here. So go figure. Anyways, this is good to know that you can just add it later, and then the settings for it are whatever the little settings that they have for Teams for this specific group are going to be in here. And here it is. Now we have the little icon. It's activated. It's assigned, and that's that. I think I'm going to wrap it up for this video. I don't know. We're just gonna keep going later on. I do need to make some time for this, and I'm short on time. Is basically what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to crank this out, and as much as I can. So and I don't want to make videos too long, and certainly I don't want to keep rambling and what's the word when somebody just talks too much? Ramble? Is it ramble? I don't know. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you guys learn something from me, and that's all I'm trying to do, just trying to share my knowledge as much as I can in a format that is easy to understand, hopefully. And I do get some awesome feedback. Special thank you to people who became members of the channel. Thank you so much. It's really appreciated. Please leave a like. That helps push the video, obviously. I know people ask this all the time, like and subscribe, but it's like, I know it gets old, and I try not to ask it, but man, it's like you have no choice nowadays. You really have no choice, because there are so many people out there making videos and content. Anyways, YouTube just likes to push certain videos that get interactions, so you could be like the best YouTube creator. Like, you could start today and create videos that are 10 times better than mine, but nobody's gonna watch it because YouTube doesn't know who you are, and they're not gonna push it in any way. The only way for them to know that people like it is people interact with it with comments and likes and all that stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make it about that at the end of this video. What I really want you to do right now is just have a wonderful day. Don't let people stress you out. Much love from the United States. Although I'm originally from Bosnia, so if you happen to watch this video all the way through, let me know if you caught this that I am actually from Bosnia and English is my second language. Okay, bye bye. Take care.